Well, hello everyone, and welcome back. So this has been requested quite a few times now, and it is time to continue with our merge shops, and I think we're up to part 14. So if you're new around here, please do hit that subscribe button, and if you haven't already, do leave this video with a like. Now, before we jump in, I am currently running this poll for which class/classes are your favourite. You can go along, select what you like. If you've done this already, however, there is a new link down below. Basically, I bodged up the first one, so please do go re-enter them if you've done it already, and if you haven't, do have a little look, because we'll be making the top 20 list a little bit later on. Now, let's jump straight into these merge shops. So, join Seraphic War, and this is where we're going to go through our first items. There are actually a couple house items in it if you fancy grabbing them. The vast majority have that AC tag, crucially, so if you do want to pick them up, you've at least got that bank storage if you just want to collect up some AC items. Join Shadowflame for our next shop. Again, just a few items in here. Sadly, none have an AC tag, but there are some pretty quirky helms if you do fancy kind of having, I don't know, just a planet with a smiley face on your head. So there's something you might want to go and grab. Join Shadowgates for the Shadowfall Defence Shop. Again, this one here has some very odd looking items, but there are a couple bits that may potentially be worth picking up, like that Corrupted Arcana Mage, and Knight of the Shadows doesn't look all that horrific. There are some quite nice helms as well if you do want some different hairstyles, and a couple capes to go with it. Not too sure I'll be grabbing any of the capes, but there is a rune one if that is something that you particularly like. Okay, let us move on to a more oldie shop, as we could tell by that button, is join Shadowfall War. Now, this really does have some cool gear. Sadly, the cool gear are pretty much member locked. Not all of them, but mostly are. So if you are a member, this could definitely be something that is worth you taking a little look at. I cannot remember at all as to when this shop would have came out, which year, etc. But it's one of those finds when I was going through the list thinking, oh yeah, this one is actually quite nice, and it just gave me that tiny little bit of nostalgia with the old looking button. Okay, so join ruinedcrown Shadowflame Finale Merge. This one you'll probably remember, it didn't come out all that long ago, but there are some AC tagged items in it if you have missed them in the past. You will need some gold vouchers, as you do with pretty much all modern merge shops, and again, there are plenty of helms that you're able to go through and grab. Just the one cape in that one. There is also this AC shop, I might as well show you while we're here. Items mostly just following the similar theme to what we've just seen in the merge shop, so if there is anything that takes your fancy, maybe that scythe, maybe that really wacky armour, it could be worth just popping along if you have some spare ACs. Not too sure if I personally will be spending my ACs in that shop, but you know what, someone out there may think it's a good idea. Okay, join Shadow Realm. This is where we've got some Hollowborn gear, of course from Lay, if you would like to have a little word with him. You will also need some Hollowborn rep for some of the items within this shop, so you will have to go through and do a little bit of grinding out if you do want any of them, although it is a merge shop, so you're going to have to go grinding regardless. So ignore that last point I made. There is a large availability of different armours within this shop, so there could be at least one thing in here that you particularly like. You will have to grab yourself some bone dust by the looks of it along the way, although that will just take you a few seconds to grab. Again, plenty of different helms within here, loads of different hairstyles going on, and plenty of hooded ones to go with it. Some of them are just masks with effects. So if this does happen to be one of the shops you've never really come across or never bothered actually looking in, then it's definitely worth a few minutes of your time. This does all, however, rely on the assumption that you are a fan of Hollowborn gear. Even if you're not, this Shadow Realm Merge just has so many different items in here, so many different capes as well, and there's even a ground rune. So you'd definitely be hoping there's at least one item for everyone within this shop that you look at it and think, oh yeah, that looks alright. However, there's going to be someone out there that probably hates every single thing in there, but you know what, that swings and roundabouts the way it goes. If you speak to Graven at Shadowfall, you will find yourself the Shadowscythe General Shop. Now, if you have never been through and farmed for Shadowscythe General, then you 100% should be, even if you're just going to bang it in your bank. It is a multi-hitting farming class, and importantly, it relies on a daily quest, so it's very straightforward to grab. It just takes a few days. Join Shadowblast for the Shadowscythe Merge. This one, again, only has a few items within here, but they're always worth just showing you for the sake of it. I do quite like a couple of the weapons. They just look something slightly different, and anything that reminds you of the Rainbringer from back in the day is a weapon that is good in my book. For some reason, I've gone onto the Vampire Rep Shop. I think I was meant to go to the Merge at Sephiria, so I'll have to do that next video, but I've ended up at the Rep Shop instead. So, there you go. If you haven't looked at the Vampire Rep Shop for absolutely donkey's years, here is a little preview of the items you can find within it. And as you can see, I have not done my Vampire Rep, so slap on the wrist for that. Join Shadowspire for the Shadowspire Merge. I mean, that's probably pretty obvious, but in here you do have the Undead Dragon set, and if you want to walk around like an undead dragon with a big morph on you, then it's definitely worth going along and grabbing, even though it isn't AC tag, so that is a big shame. Join Shadowvault is our next location, and again, there are a few different items you're able to go through and grab. Treasure Hunter Z is the armor located in here, along with the mask. Not a massive shop, but does crucially have some AC tagged items. Now, this one is rather cool. The Necrotic Katana of Doom can be found at Join Siegefortress in Shakaz's Merge. If you've never gone along and farmed out for that katana, it's definitely worth it, and there are some really nice items within this shop regardless, so it's definitely worth a little look through and maybe even putting some time into this shop. It also has the Enchanted Abyssal Frost Samurai, a really cool looking cape that goes great with some AFKing sets. Okay, next up we are joining Shinkansen for the Shinkansen Merge. Again, all sorts within this shop, plenty of AC tagged items. You can just come along to this map and get farming them out if there is anything in particular you like. A lot of them are quite wacky, I'm not gonna lie, but that's a good thing. It keeps us on our toes and gives us lots of different items to have a little look at. There's also a few capes within this shop that are looking ever so slightly different again, and then a couple pets to go with it if you do like yourself some floating blades. Next up, we're heading over to our dear friend Vordred at Stonewood. So the Skullbreaker Knight set is what you can find here, and again, this one is awesome. So if you have never farmed out for this, or you do not own this, it is definitely worth going along and grabbing. I just think this is a really nice set. It's undead, it's an evil themed one. Essentially, what's not to like? Lastly, and certainly not least, we have Join Dragontown. Slayer War Chest is available here with a few little Dragon Slayer type items that you can grab. Not overly many in that shop, but it was worth a little look. Anyway folks, that is it for now. Thank you very much for watching. If you are new, please hit that subscribe button, make sure you left this video a like, and we'll be back for another part of Merge Shops incredibly soon.